try to do something in Pune, people will kind of laugh at me. I won't get that kind of support. I won't feel belonging to this place if I'm doing that. But there, if you go, you feel you can easily do that. It's their part of the life. It's kind of part of the life. People accept sages and yogis. It's a very common sight over there. So I think that's what makes Himalaya a lot different. In fact, I
Amazing.
met one guy. I just met one guy from Latvia. One boy and girl. They're partners. And just last month, I was there in one place, and somebody coming from Latvia in Europe saying that this is one of the best places in the world I've seen. So I, I I won't say that Himalaya has best place in the world, but definitely it would be having. Though I have not visited so many parts in the world, and I'm sure Himalayas, even if you go to Balochistan, there are some beautiful places in the Himalayas. So Himalayas I have not explored whole of Himalayas, but I have explored that part which is known for spiritual practices.
Exactly. So it means the energy there must be different.
Yes, you can feel the vibrations, and some of the places which are quite known but have become very crowded because of religious connotations. And if you go in a very crowded place, you can still, it probably gets it gets subdued because of the crowd and chaos. But you can still, if you're still really seeking, you can probably ignore that and still find that divinity there. But there are places which are very isolated. There are some hidden gems, and if you find them, if you explore them, you may have different kind of experiences over there.
Amazing. And what does a spiritual life mean? Or some people call it a spiritual journey, according to you.
Yeah, this is a wonderful question. In fact, I have a video on spirituality also on my YouTube channel. What exactly spirituality? Spirituality is not that a lot of people, probably I would say, they did not work hard in their childhood, they did not study well, they couldn't do professionally very well, and they were trying to find some way in life. They had relationship issues, there are many issues, and then they feel that they will go to India and do some yoga course, and by doing one yoga course, they will become spiritual, or having some kind of imagination that they become spiritual because they become different. That's not spirituality. Spirituality is is basically an effort to understand what is life. What exactly is life? What is our core purpose of existence? What is the purpose of life? To understand that, what is humanity? What's the purpose of human? Why were we created? And how are we supposed to operate in this world and exist in this world? That's, I would say, spirituality. And when you start understanding, you also understand many other aspects of life. How strong is the mind, and what's mind actually? Is there something called mind, or there's nothing like mind? And what's happening to our mental state, and how the world is living? What are the problems? So it's a kind of a science where you're trying to understand creation and human existence. And in that process, when you get realizations, we said self-realization, that who you are, and you also realize a lot of reality, the facts about life, your mind opens up, and a lot of clarity comes, a lot of peace comes. And the whole idea is about living peaceful on this planet and living in harmony and happiness. It's not about chasing money, but one has to understand that we have to live happily in harmony and humanity. And when you get those clarity, the clarity goes on increasing exponentially, and all the answers are all within, because I think the God has created human with all the answers, but we are covered with dirt through this social dirt and a conditioning which we've had. So all that layers gets peeled off, and you get this closer to the reality of human existence. So I think that this particular practice, which is called self-inquiry, is actually spirituality. That's what I feel. And then there are dimensions to dimensions, levels to levels, where the mind expansion happens, and you get more and more clarity about not just humanity, but I think probably about the universe, how the universe operates, and the whole science about the creation.
So about the importance of it, so it is important that everybody have to uh, be a spiritual seeker, or it has to be for a particular people, because it's a question that maybe a lot of people have.
Spiritual seeker is, you don't have to define yourself as a spiritual seeker, but today in the world, like if you introduced me that I'm a spiritual seeker, yeah, I think we all have to be a spiritual seeker by default. We don't have to either tell that I'm spiritual or I'm a spiritual seeker. That's like we go and study in school, that's by default. But it's all modern education. Earlier times, there used to be education based on the foundation of humanity. So there was a lot of teachings about being human, what does being human means, apart from modern education. Today we have shifted completely to modern education, which doesn't talk about moral science. I remember I studied in a Catholic school in India, and we had a subject called moral science. So and we studied. I was very fond of those historical small books. We used to have those, not comics, but they were like small storybooks, Amar Chitra Katha in India, about history of the about history. There were books on history about different kings or spiritual things or the scriptures, and they all had moral story. Even if you look at Walt Disney movies, which the children watch, they all have a moral of the story. So, but they did not. We did not have a formal education system where we don't teach our generation, apart from being materialistically success and success from the modern education point of view. We don't teach them what is the responsibility, moral responsibility toward the society, what exactly is family, what is the role as a mother, as a father, as a husband and a wife. That's just been not taught. And I think this is something very, very important. And this is what is spirituality, because if you understand your roles and responsibility, and if you understand what are your actions to be based on, so how is a human supposed to operate? Human has only two aspects. One is to do task, and the task should be based on a certain way of doing it. There's certain qualities a human should have, and that should be the basis of existence and basis of all the deeds. These things are not taught. What are the responsibilities, what are the roles, and how you fulfill them. And if you really come to religion were written basically for giving a direction to the people, that how should they coexist in harmony. That was religion. Religion is not an identity. Religion was a thought process which was created for safe existence of people in a particular area. Like Islam got created in Arab world, where there was a lot of problems due to scarcity of resources, this and that, and people, there was a lot of aggression. So to bring some sanity into the living, some wise people got together, and probably people like Muhammad Prophet, probably he gave some wisdom, and then that was probably collated into a form of religion. Similarly, so many religions are there in the world, and religions are just like a constitution where they will give a direction, guiding force to humanity. They are not anything to create your social identity. You can't say that I am Hindu, I am Muslim, or I am Christian. We are humans. This whole connotation to the religion has been wrongly understood. So coming to your question, that spiritual seeker, I think everybody has to know what is humanity. So by default, you should be working on that parallelly, apart from your daily bread and butter. As they say, what company you have, that matters. So if you give some time to a discussion in a good company, where you talk wisdom about humanity, where you do some introspection so that you are on the correct path. So we have to constantly give feedback to ourselves that what I'm doing is right or wrong, rather than trying to blame the world. These kind of discussions are also should be integral part of our life, rather than going to a pub, drinking and talking all kind of crap. Where is the society going? You see that today's younger generation, how they have completely radically changed, and what kind of mindset they have, what kind of things they do. Just compare decades after decades how the change is happening and where are they heading towards. Drugs, this, that. And so open society, it's so open society that like sometimes I feel they're worse than animals now, the behavior. So I think it's very important to be really working on yourself also. You can call it spiritual seeker. You may not call that.
Mhm, mhm. So about your journey, you said you received a call. Tell us some stories afterward when you went to Himalayas. Which yogis have you met, and what did you do there? What was so interesting for you with yogis? Any special stories in Himalaya? Then we go on to the next question. First, tell us
Yeah,
some
yeah.
stories.
So I will tell some stories, some of the incidents which happened with me, and I think they are kind of a repetition because I think in every podcast people are very curious to know about those stories because they sound very interesting because they are transformative and they are a little mystic also. They do appear to be very interesting and yeah, I really don't know how people take it because I do see a lot of paranormal stories on the YouTube now. It's filled with out of body, ND, near death experiences and all, but they are really. Uh, Sometimes I feel they are kind of imagination. And recently, yesterday, I was listening to Isaac Asimov, his future, and he's so good. He understands that there is so much of. He was talking about irrationality which is happening in the world, and this irrationality people are seeking astrology. There's that healing and healers. It's a something the world is going in the wrong direction. So sorry to digress, but and that guy who was talking to Isaac Asimov was David Hoffman, and I just wrote to him and he replied back. So probably I'll have a conversation with a very interesting guy. So coming to Himalayas, my first trip to Himalayas itself had a very transformative effect on me, and definitely a very different kind of experience, which is again beyond these 2-3 dimensions of our life. So I found one. I was searching for my idea of going to Rishikesh, and then was uh, it completely changed my way of looking at things when I went to Rishikesh due to that calling. And somebody asked me, who was very excited that I'm going to Rishikesh to do some exploration. And I remember he called me, this guy, he called me. We used to have long discussions, spiritual discussions. That's the beginning which I had when I was in Mumbai. And I was working in Reliance Jio in telecom. I was assistant vice president there and working on network security of the company. So when I reached Rishikesh and I was in ashram, first time in my life in ashram, it was really exciting to see a very different kind of way of living. And people all kind of, in their own very different vibrations because everybody is like a spiritual seeker and had a different purpose of coming there. So it was a very, very different environment. It was very exciting, I think, because everybody's searching for truth. So this man calls me and says, "What is your plan for the next day?" I said, "I have no plan." And that's how my life has been now since then, since 2015. I don't have any plans. I have intentions, but I am not following or chasing anything now. I stopped chasing anything. So I was basically looking for some sages with whom I can get some wisdom, listen to them, hear their stories, and have some interesting conversation and to understand the reality of life. Basically, that was the aim, and not to get into the ashram routine. So I was searching for some wise yogis who have been in this place on the net. Then I came across one yogi, Tatwale Baba, who appeared to look very enigmatic and very majestic and very, very amazing personality, and not like really superhuman. He didn't look ordinary. He was like extraordinary personality, a very strong yogic personality, I would say. And he had passed away in 1974. He was supposed to be, and he I thought finding his place will unravel something in life, which I've come here for. So I started searching for his cave where he used to live, and after 3 days of search, I found his cave. Wasn't very far. It was not that far, but unfortunately, a lot of locals are least interested in existence of knowing the existence of such people. They're busy in their daily life and business, feeding their own stomach. But uh, that's what it happens. And somehow I found his place, and I went to this cave, and I met his disciple, who's now 88-year-old, living there. And I had some very transformative experiences. Like my mind became blank over there. When I bowed to the memorial samadhi, my mind became blank, and for 3-4 minutes I was standing like that with my hands closed like this, and I could not come out of it. But but then I came out because I had to talk, introduce myself to this yogi, Swami Shankar Das, who is the disciple of Tat Wale Babaji. And we started a conversation. And initially it was he was a little, I won't say aggressive, but skeptical about what have I come here for. And as we started discussing our thoughts, exchange of thoughts happened. It became very interesting, and he also became very interested in continuing this discussion, deeper spiritual discussion with me. And we had a 4-hour conversation. And when I became evening, I again did the same ritual of bowing before the samadhi like this, and same thing happened. I felt very, very blissful. I can't describe. And then I kind of really, really surprised at what exactly has happened, because you don't have such experiences in life, in the normal course of time. And this was completely off the, it took me off the guard. And, so I asked him, what exactly is this? And he said, you have no questions left, and your mind has become focused. This is what he told me. And then subsequently I realized that my mind had become free of thoughts, free of unnecessary thoughts, I would say. And if I'm doing something, like if I'm talking to you, I'm totally focused on that. There's nothing else I do. So I don't do parallel processing. I do sequential processing now. And so I may be thinking for 2 hours nonstop, but only about one thing, which is probably there to be solved. So I have some problem in my life, suppose. I have to think about that. I will think about that. I won't think about second thing. So mind became very focused. And then it continued like that. It remains like this since 2015. And I realized that I have achieved some state and how it happened. So being a science background person, electrical engineer, probably with modern science, I have probably more analytical ability to analyze things. So I did that, and probably with my mind decluttered, it also gave me answers. It started giving me answers, and I understood the whole process behind how the mind can be emptied, actually. And it was like some unraveling of some mystery or some method which is there in the world. So there was a lot of self-inquiry which was happening, and this self-inquiry led to this. And probably the grace emerged in that cave, because probably I was prepared a lot, because there was a lot of questioning which was happening prior to going to Rishikesh for a couple of years. And I think probably I would say the grace came, or some kind of energy exchange which happened, because when you are at a certain, you're vibrating at a certain frequency, certain energy level, you have a certain electromagnetic field, you have certain aura. And when you go to this high aura place, that can catapult you to a very high level, because it's energy interaction of two fields are interacting. And if somebody is a very low level, probably it will not be catapulted to that level. But if you have already raised your vibrations due to purified yourself, then probably you are able to go much higher with the effect of that field. That's my understanding. And probably that is what happened. And probably my level got raised over there. And that with clean energy, with more positive energy, mind is much more clear. So that was one incident. And then similarly, many incidents happened when I met another yogi next year. And like, in short, I would say I felt weightless for an hour, that I don't have any weight. I also felt very strongly that I lived in this place. This was my house in the past birth. And that yogi told me that whoever did practice here in this place in the previous birth will come back here. And last year I was living there for 3 months doing my practice in a forest in that place. And I've been to many places, but I am realizing that that's one place where I feel very comfortable. Other places I could not sustain myself for a long, but this place I felt very, very comfortable. I got adopted to the place. So I hope I have given some answer. There are more case stories.
Yeah, exactly. But what about the practices? Do you do meditation, any form of meditation, or is there any different practice? And also, is there a process that you are going through in order to achieve a certain level of spiritual level, or maybe consciousness level, a different consciousness level, like transcendental meditation, or you are doing some different kind of meditation or practices?
So first thing is, I parallelly, as I told you, that when my mind became free of unnecessary thoughts, I became, like, I wouldn't say that you become free of thoughts, but you become inert to the external world a lot. Your ability to ignore the external challenges which are coming in your life, the ability to deal with them, that is something which affects your mind. If you're able to deal with all kind of challenges in life, you can sustain yourself in all kind of environment with all kind of negativity all around and all kind of bad influences which are coming across in your life, then I think you have achieved a lot. And this happens to self-inquiry. So I have made a lot of videos on meditation and trying to explain. In fact, one of the last videos I've made is trying to explain what exactly is meditation. And my book is also actually on trying to explain what exactly is meditation and what are the stages, what is the whole process. So broadly, I define that meditation is actually in two stages, because meditation is something what is called tapasya. Tapasya, what these rishis and munis did after attaining, you have to prepare to start doing meditation. When you do meditation, there is a goal for that. So first goal to be able to, and that meditation is not that you sit every day for 15 minutes. What is your goal of sitting for 15 minutes? You are trying to achieve some peace of mind, but you are not having a very clear goal by doing that. What will you achieve and how will you achieve? And do you really want temporary peace of mind, or you just want a minor change in your life that you are very stressed out, or you should be permanently at peace? So the goal should be very, very clear. And will this technique, this kind of method or transcendental meditation, will it really take you? So most of the people who are doing, they don't have any clear-cut answers and clear-cut understanding about meditation, but they're just doing it. It's like a rat race where the whole world is trying to do something. But if you talk to scientists, if you talk to spiritual scientists, people who are spiritual and scientists, they are rational. And as Isaac Asimov said, that the world is very irrational. They try to follow something which is being sold, because I saw some another podcast somewhere today morning itself. I think that spirituality has become a business. So people are selling tools and I don't know what all they've been selling, because people want some easy answers. All those people who are harassed in their life today, there is so much of mental disturbance in the world, and people want most of the people want quick answers, but they don't want to go to the root cause of the problem. They want some quick solutions. Like when we go to, in modern medicine, we go to a doctor and we want quick solution to the problem. And if you go to other fond of medicines, school of medicines, they work on the cause and they do a lot of root cause analysis before really finding out, unlike the modern medicine. So today people have got used to modern medicine system where they want quick solutions. And obviously, when there is a demand for such a thing, then there will be a supply for such a thing. So the reality gets hidden. So coming back to meditation, that what do I do meditation? Meditation is basically, first thing you have to purify your mind. First thing is you have to empty your mind. First thing you have to control your mind. First thing You have to be free your mind from all the chaos. If you are not free, if you are having a barrage of thoughts, unnecessary thoughts, and if you think you will do some kind of technique, it will not really help you, because those thoughts cannot be removed without knowing the reason for those thoughts. Without doing course correction, how can you do something else? You can't live with the dirt and then use something else. So you are running a parallel system where you are trying to decongest your mind, but you are still carrying that nonsense with you. So while carrying that nonsense, you are trying to decongest, clean that mind. It cannot be cleaned. If you don't scrub the vessel and you think you can clean it, then you are fooling yourself, because you have to scrub the vessel. When a vessel is dirty, it cannot be cleaned by something else. You can't put, if you don't take a bath and you put scent, so you are actually trying to fool somebody. So it's important to take a bath, not to put a scent. You understand that? So we are not trying to clean the mind. So the first stage is you have to clean the mind, and meditation is nothing. The mind has different states. Somebody is very disturbed, somebody is very stressed, somebody is mildly stressed, somebody is not stressed, somebody is in a state of happiness, somebody is in a state of bliss. So there are different states of mind, and how do you achieve those states of mind? How do you remove those thoughts is an art, and it's a process, it's a method. And that has to be really understood, and that's where the self-inquiry is the only method. Self-inquiry, to introspect, where have we gone wrong, what is humanity, and to understand that. That's my book about, which people don't do any introspection, because we are all running. We don't look back. So if you do that, then you reach a state where I have reached, first state. And if I answer about whether I do meditation, so doing meditation is now then what is my purpose of doing meditation now when I've cleared up my mind? You also have to sit for a long time. Your posture in which you sit to do meditation should also be still. Your body should be still. So that's another practice. So you have to master a posture where you can sit for long hours. You can forget your body, and when you are empty in your mind, then you are in a position to leave your body. Leave your body means you forget your body because it's still. You mastered the pose. You've forgotten the mind because mind has become irrelevant now. Now you are a free man. Now your soul is free. Your soul, which was chained with everything, has become free. Now it can go to research. So now you become a scientist in that field, and you can raise your consciousness level. You have already raised your consciousness level. Now it can float and explore. So you are now ready to explore. And now if you have a goal that I want to understand how the body functions, you want to understand more details about the body, which the modern science is not able to explore. Coming back to Isaac Asimov, David Hoffman asked him, he told about a lot of things about futuristic life and all in 1982. He spoke about space stations and this and that, which is now the reality. He was speaking about artificial intelligence those days. But the most wonderful thing he told was that he himself was very, when David Hoffman asked him, what is something which you will still feel you need to know? He said, the whole functioning of the brain. So mind is nothing but it's the brain, the processing of the brain. The brain is processing the thoughts, actually. What you see through your sensory organs, what you hear through your sensory organs, it processes those inputs and then creates thoughts. And how it processes, how it is programmed, the operating system which has been conditioned. So meditation is not about, it's a long process. So I'm going to the forest in the Himalayas, and there I want to disconnect from the world, live in the solitude, not seeking externally, then do meditation where I can then focus for a couple of hours, and probably then see how my mind floats and explores and goes into some kind of different orbits. This is what I want to do. Right now, I don't have to sit for 1 hour and do meditation because, just without a goal, doing something doesn't make sense. So I think we have to be very, very rational. It's this world of rationality, which I heard Asimov, is very, very important. And a lot of people don't resonate with these kind of things because this requires a lot of depth of analysis and research. This is not a field which is like by fluke or by some kind of a gossip. This is not a gossip. This is a serious topic and very, very deep topic. Modern science don't have answers to these things. But the Rishi Munis have found answers. They wrote scriptures. There are books about consciousness and all those things. I hope I have given some right answer.
Exactly. Like to paraphrase or to confirm, if I understand correctly, you said the meditation, with the meditation you can open a new channel, which in two ways we can gain knowledge or wisdom, either to educate ourselves or to go through meditation to live mindlessly and to open a new channel. Some people call it akashic field, or some call it it is a universal consciousness. So there are all knowledges and wisdom out there, so we can access to it and we can understand about the future or all science or knowledges that uh, is coming or already there. We have access to this, and then if we want to know something, we can access to this. You mean meditation will enable us to have access to this so-called akashic field?
Yeah, see, when people use these words, they coin these terms, they have to be really understood. We understand what is an apple, what is a guava, what is a road, what is a building. It's very, very clear. When I use the word akashic, what does it mean? So, and when we use the word consciousness, these things are, they have a definition, but they have to be experienced. Consciousness cannot be explained, it has to be experienced. So there are certain realms in this world which have to be experienced. Science or these words or languages cannot define them. Consciousness is infinite, formless. They say God is formless. So how do you experience something which you cannot see? And akashic means what? Like I use very simple language. And when I talk about spirituality and meditation, I use simple languages. I don't create terms. I say mind expansion. Like I would give you a very simple example. You have a horse, but you've tied your horse. You're not letting the horse run. So your mind is like that. The horse can run at a great speed. Now you have a mind which can run at speed unknown to us. But how do you make it run? What is to be done? And what it can explore? So if I know I will travel to space, I know I'll find some answers. But how do I travel to the space? Can I travel to the space? What is telepathy? If you see telepathy, a lot of people have experienced. Many times telepathy happens. Not many times it doesn't happen. Many times it happens. Many times you feel, you remember somebody, and immediately the person responds. But sometimes it doesn't. But sometimes it happens. The thoughts have energy. Everything is energy. Consciousness is all about energy, and we are all interconnected. It is the intention. What intention we have. If we are thinking something with a very good intention, that can manifest. But if we are thinking with any negative thoughts, that will not manifest. If we are having an intention which is not good, that will not manifest. But if you are having a very, very pure intention, those manifestations will happen. So this is a science of connected. We are all connected, and this is what is consciousness. And what is consciousness is a flow of energy. And if you see, we say that this world was infinite and never created, never destroyed. So if you look at Einstein's theory, energy can only transform, cannot be created. So he found that answer, and so is theory of relativity. And if you look, what is infinite? So in my understanding, if you are in a circle, if you draw a circle, the circle has no beginning, no end, but it can undergo transformation of energy. But it is no beginning, no end. So if every word has to be really understood in depth. Infinite, we say this is infinite, no beginning, no end. And we talk about Big Bang theory, that the world, the universe, so that's just a theory, but who knows from where it emerged. So and if you look at the theory of no beginning, no end, then the circle is the best example. And then this theory of relativity of conversion of energy from different forms also falls into this circle theory. And it all infinite also falls into this. When there's no beginning, no end, a circle, it is infinite. So you can have these kind of introspection, analysis through meditation, and science is logic. Science is based on logic, and if you are analytical and if you're logical, you can actually start getting answers to the whole thing. Uh, that's what I mean, and probably I forgot your question while answering this.
Okay, that's good. I just my question was to like if the meditation opens a new channel to the wisdom that is not
Yeah,
available
yeah,
in
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
world. This is the one
So
question, and then I have a follow-up question on it. Okay.
yeah, I will again retreat about this answer because I digressed a little bit. See, I use the word mind expansion. We have the mind, we just don't know what is the potential of a brain. The brain has amazing processing power, and there are a lot of scientists who are trying to unravel the mysteries of the brain, but they are stuck at physical level. The modern science's approach is at physical level, but spiritual level gives a very different dimension to the understanding. That's what I feel, because I am also a science student, background, and I am also now spiritually exploring it. And a lot of people have told, in fact, who was that person? So I'm seeing a lot of videos now on spirituality and science. And last podcast I had with a rocket scientist in NASA, and who has written a book on quantum beings. So I was trying to understand quantum mechanics, how the quantum mechanics is trying to understand the creation. But what I see is through the modern science, the approach is very physical, very, very at physical level. And spirituality takes you to a very different level, which cannot be explained. Because when you are analyzing from a spiritual level, you are really expanding your mind. It's like out of box thinking. It's a very, very open thinking without any formulas. And you don't think about Newton's law. You don't think about Einstein's formula. You don't look at Schrodinger's equation, or you don't look at those kind of Planck's, Max Planck and all these people. You are your own. You are a scientist in yourself. And when you do meditation, you are trying to analyze life. Like I'm trying to think how the body degeneration of cells and regeneration of cells work, and how it changes with the age. What are the factors? I'm trying to understand that how the yogis used to control the lifespan, and what is the factor? What are the different external factors and internal factors affecting that? So I'm trying to do some study on that. Right now, I don't have time, so I have to go to Himalayas to practice that probably, and that's one area of interest for me. So mind expansion is something which happens, and we call it raising consciousness, going to higher consciousness. So obviously, when the mind becomes available to us, and when we exploit it without knowing its capability, which is unknown, then I mean, you will agree that it can open so many levels which are unknown to us. Now you call it Akashic connection. Some people say that I'm getting download from angels or this and that. You can call it anything, but it is basically, those are imaginations, I would say. You can say that I'm getting some answers. So I become a medium. Somebody says I'm a medium. Somebody is, giving me answers. But nobody is giving answers. God has created all humans equal. Every knowledge is inside. So you get your answers inside. It is not that God is sitting in and answering everyone. He has created something wonderful. We don't understand. And he won't create all the humans differently. That somebody is talking to a medium, somebody is talking to some Akashic thing or this and that. All have same abilities. We have to exploit our own self. We have to unravel the mysteries, which are all like we have an operating system. We have all the information inside. This is what I believe. This is what the scriptures say. When I look back at the scriptures after all my findings and exploration, I realized that all those scriptures are all actually teaching the same thing. It's now people change the interpretations and create theories after theories and after theories without really knowing the reality, and they coin terms, give names, create some more theories and more theories. And if I look at this modern science, to me it looks very, very primitive now. I say they are all stuck to formulas and theorems. And even you look, all the formulas and theorems are all based on assumption. Yesterday I was listening to one professor of IIT Kanpur, which is one of the most premium institute of engineering college in India, and he was giving a class lecture on quantum mechanics. So they are all limited to formulas and theorems, and everything is on assumptions. Science starts with assumptions, and assumptions are what? Logical assumptions. So we first create some logical assumptions, and we create certain parameters with those assumptions, and then we try to connect those parameters. Then we create a formula. So that's how we progress, and that's how you do in the spiritual realm also. You don't use formulas, but you use your internal ability to connect those assumptions without any formula. And then the revelations are undescribable, actually. You cannot describe with these words.
Exactly. So what do you think about the different yogis work? Like, for example, what's the difference we had in the very famous yogis like Satsang, J. Krishnamurti, Osho, Sadhguru today? So why they have some different school or ways that they approach? Like Osho has a meditation that calls dynamic meditation. And then we have another guru who has a transcendental meditation. So what is your overall idea on these different approaches?
Yeah, I have made 2-3 videos about fake gurus, real gurus, bookish gurus. So it's when we expand our mind, when we are doing self-inquiry. In fact, I've made a video which is released just 2 days back, Saturday, about a book which I was reading, Yog Vashisht. It's a conversation between Lord Ram and his guru, Yog Vashisht. And there's one page 147 where it's talked about why do we need a guru. So guru is, as per the book and as per my understanding, this book says that self-inquiry is the only way you can achieve success in spiritual world, and there's nothing else. Guru is needed. Guru gives you inspiration only. But if you think guru is going to spoon feed you, that's a misunderstanding. The effort is yours. It's not guru's effort. You have to make those effort. You have to study. It's like modern education. You have a teacher, but you have to study and pass. Teacher will not ensure that you will pass. But in the spiritual world, you feel the teacher is mystical or magical. He will do something. And all those gurus who are trying to teach, sell that, they are fooling you. So all these gurus, you are taking names, except J. Krishnamurti. J. Krishnamurti never wanted to be a guru. He is a very intelligent guy. He has understood science. He has understood creation. His teachings are very good. I have heard him few times. And some of the videos, in fact, somebody told me your teachings are very much like J. Krishnamurti. And I feel, and then somebody told me he never wanted to be a guru, but people coin them as a guru, they flock to him. And his way of teaching is very good, very, very blunt and very straight. He never created any empire. He never wanted to create any following. He was like straight. People come to him, he gives a talk. People invite him, he gives a talk. That's it. Which a lot of people are doing. But some people create an empire like Osho or like Sadhguru. Sadhguru is doing what? He basically, I think, copies what Osho speaks. And Osho also has gone beyond a point. Like if you look at transcendental meditation, what is transcendental? Why do we call meditation transcendental? Why do people give a brand to yoga? Why to create your own brands? Yoga is not to be branded. It's an art. Similarly, meditation is not to be given any term, because then you create a brand and people follow, and then you earn a lot of money. You make billions of dollars out of it. Transcendental meditation, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi created millions of dollars. And he used to call Tatwale Baba to give a lecture to his students. In fact, I've translated one of his lecture, the only lecture which is available in Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's ashram, Beatles ashram, which is known as Beatles ashram now. I've translated that video into a simple language because Mahesh Yogi was doing a translation. to suit his students, and he was using this term transcendental. Transcendental is nothing, raising your consciousness, transcending your mind to a higher level. So then he's used this word. So people think transcendental meditation is some sort of meditation, but it's basically raising your consciousness. And how do you raise a consciousness to some kind of meditation? And so people coin some word which becomes actually misleading, like dynamic meditation. So somebody is selling dynamic meditation, somebody is selling transcendental meditation. And what is meditation? Nobody tells. Is any of these guru explains what is this? Does he really explain what they'll achieve? It's a rat race. As I told you, demand and supply. There is a demand, there is a supply. And Osho talks, he's a very, very intelligent man. He was a very intelligent person, very, very brilliant guy, very high intelligence. So he spoke a lot of things which were very relevant and very good. But then he also spoke, even Sadhguru, he spoke initially a lot of good things. But later on, I realized that he never closed the subject. He stopped telling a lot of stories, and over a period of time, they get exposed what they are. And it is for us to really understand. And you can still take, they are obviously talking a lot of good things also. You can always take it, those good things, but then you realize there are a lot of not good things they are talking, and sometimes they start talking a lot of nonsense things also. And they are getting into too many things which a spiritual person should not be getting into. So then you realize that, and then why should you look for somebody who's very popular? The real yogis are hidden somewhere in the corner.
Okay. I have a question about the difference between meditation and yoga. If you can tell me concisely, then I will ask you a question on this approaches that you said about the different gurus. So what's the difference between meditation and yoga?
Yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, yoga is an art actually. Meditation is part of yoga actually. Yoga, the ultimate goal of yoga, and there is a book called Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which yoga has been explained, and meditation is the 7th step. There are 8 steps he has defined in yoga. And as I told you, when you want to meditate, you have a stage called purification of mind, and there's another process called purification of the body and mastering a posture. So asana yoga, what we call yoga, is basically one of the steps of self-realization. So yoga is for self-realization. Yoga is for realizing what you are as a human. Yoga is like a spiritual practice also. He has just kind of explained in his way. Like I have written a book, I have explained in my way. Similarly, my book is purely on mind actually, but I've covered some aspect of asana also, what is the importance of asana. But I have covered many other steps in meditation which are explained by Patanjali Yoga Sutra, mainly the withdrawal of senses, discipline, and food, and the mind part. But I have not really given stress much on the body part, because that's a different process, which is asana. So yoga, what people see, so the problem is everything has been sold, is sold, becoming a business. So because it becomes a business, it loses the overall value and focus. It loses its real meaning, and everybody is trying to say yoga is not just asana, but they should also know what it is. I have come across many students or who have done these yoga teacher training course, and when I ask them about Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, which is a book which has been generally taught in these schools, they have no clue about that book. They have not gone into the depth. Their focus is that I just do asanas and that is yoga. So asana is just one aspect of yoga, one of the steps, and there are so many other steps. Now, are some steps, the first few steps are actually self-inquiry is the first step. Through self-inquiry, you cover many steps given in the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali out of those 8 steps. Asana is something which is there to master your mind. Asana also makes your body strong. It's like an exercise. It's a very scientific exercise to make your body flexible, So that you finally achieve that mastering of the pose. It's in Hindi, it's called Asan Siddhi. Siddhi means mastering. So you have to do Asan Siddhi. You have to do master your mind. You have to eat what you have to eat. That's part of the discipline, food discipline in the body. So when your body is pure, when your machine is completely ready, then only you can launch it. So basically, you're preparing your rocket to be launched. And yoga in totality is a whole science, and meditation is the most important part of it actually, because that needs a lot of processing. Asana is simple. Asana is like an exercise. Pranayam and asana, these are pranayam is another technique, but mm, like I will give you one example of pranayam, which our body has been created. If we live naturally, if we live close to the nature, and if we do our own job, everything the way nature has designed us to do, we are naturally living like a yogi. Today we have drifted so far from the natural way of existence. We have created this kind of modern life and a totally different lifestyle, and it's been changing with time rapidly, with technological changes, with too much of digital addiction. So we are drifting constantly away from the natural way of living. Yoga is nothing but a natural way of living. If I swap my house, I have a 4-bedroom house. If I mop my house, I am doing yoga. If I want for 1 hour, I am mopping my house. I am doing a very good exercise. So the normal life, people used to walk. If you go to Himalayas, people walk a lot. They walk every day, generally 10, 15 kilometers. It's very normal in their life. People didn't use these transports. There was no road. People used to walk on the mountain trails, and they were so fit. When I was living in Devprayag in Himalayas, I was actually doing a lot of walk, 3 hour, 4 hour every day almost, and up the hill, down the hill. And there was the energy so pure, the air is so pure. So you're doing natural pranayam. Giving the example of pranayam, like if you walk up the hill and it's very steep and you walk for 20 minutes, you will be panting. Now I'm equating panting to one of the pranayam called, very important pranayam is called Kapal Bharti. Now Kapal Bharti pranayam is something like panting. So when you walk and you're panting, you are automatically doing Kapal Bharti. So the lifestyle gives you so many things which have been now quantified as some kind of exercise. Like you sleep the whole day and then you go to the gym to do half an hour of exercise. Is this really good? Or you go for a morning walk because you normally don't have walk in your life, because you even go to pee on a car. So you have changed your lifestyle and you've moved away from the natural way of living. You don't walk normally, you don't breathe properly, you don't exercise. So you create exercises and then you call it yoga or this and that. Normal life, like Tatwale Baba, if I remember, Tatwale Baba never did any yoga. He used to go for long walks, and that was his yoga, he said. And he just meditated to go to different dreams. So he was a very wise yogi living at a very different dimension. So I hope I've answered the question.
Okay, thank you. And what about your books? Tell me about the books. What was the motivation of you behind these 3 books? And when did you start it? And as I saw in your profile, you wrote these 3 books in a very short period of time. It is interesting if you can tell us the whole story.
Yeah, that story is very interesting. It's part of my spiritual story actually. And when I started going to Rishikesh, I used to meet a lot of people from the West. In fact, in 2015, 16, 17, Rishikesh was also, I mean, it's also known as yoga capital of the world. And most of the people who are visiting, I wouldn't say most, almost everyone visiting these ashrams were from West. And what I saw as I explored and unraveled things, and I realized the spiritual aspect of life and why do people come there for, and what do they get there actually in these ashrams, because they don't explore, kind of, not most of them don't explore the way I was exploring. They were all they thought ashram will give them everything. So they were stuck to these asana. And a lot of people, I feel, they want to become yoga teachers and they want to get a stamp from India that I've gone to Rishikesh and I've done some course and I've lived. So this creates a kind of a hype and branding for them. So everyone has different intention when they come there. But what I saw was they should be getting the right knowledge. In fact, last year I was teaching in one school for a few days and I met this guy from Spain. And he told me that we come to India. In fact, there were two more people from UK. There's one girl from UK. They all come to India to learn something because they feel that India offers this kind of wisdom about meditation and all. They have no idea about what is meditation because the whole world is doing it and they have problems in life. So they feel through meditation they will be able to sort out a lot of problems of life. And when they come, this guy became very friendly with me, and we used to spend some time after the class going for a walk along the Ganges, and then had a lot of discussion. He said, "We come here for seeking wisdom, but we don't get that." And I said, "In these schools, you won't get it because these are schools, business. These are all business, and they pick up somebody to teach, and they teach what the world is teaching." And they make you do that and then you just go back home and nobody gives a feedback, nobody knows what they've achieved, nobody really understands because it's like a black hole, it's like a mystery, and somebody makes you do something, you feel this is only that. So when I gave my aspect of meditation, so they were like initially very shocked and surprised, and then they started discussing, and then we started opening up, and a lot of opening up happened for them. So the point is, I saw this happening. I was observing this, that there are a lot of mystical things or spiritual dimensions to be unraveled, the wisdom to be unraveled, the process, the method to be unraveled, and these people are stuck at a very basic level of a commercial school, yoga school, which I felt little. And when I found these experiences, when I went through these experiences and I had certain transformation, I thought this transformation which I've had has a method and this method can be shared with them. Why not do that? So I had that urge to share it with the West, with the people in the West, because they were seeking more than Indians. So that urge to teach started, and I experimented, and I went to Budapest in 2018, and I contacted 1, 2, 3 studios, and one of the studio agreed to take a workshop. So I took 2 workshops in Budapest, and it was very successful. It was really loved. And then then I formed a team, and I thought yoga is the main chariot on which you can ride behind with a meditation teacher. So nobody was that time so keen on meditation in 2017, 18. It was all yoga, asana yoga. So I took asana yoga as a rider to also, give like a sweet dish after the, main course as meditation. And slowly that changed. And if you see today, people are more into meditation than yoga. I feel it's yoga meditation because yoga has not given people what they should have got, neither as a business, nor as a profession, nor as a personal development. So now they're seeking further, and then they go to do the next step of meditation. And so this urge to teach meditation, and then finally culminating in teaching in Europe and different countries, and seeing the feedback, seeing the transformation people had, the effect it had, encouraged me and validated my own process and my learnings and my experiences. And I was very happy that I would say I'm like a social reformer also, because I want the world to change. Everybody wants the world to change, but first of all, have you changed and what have you gained? That's more important. It's not that I've gone through some kind of a misery in my life and I want the world to change because I'm blaming the world. So everybody is trying to change the world, but have you really changed yourself? Have you really understood the mystery of life? And then do you feel that you have that with you which can benefit others? So when I validated these things, and then I made some videos, I also wanted to share the existence of real yogis, because people go searching for some gurus and this, and I wanted to say that there are real gurus hidden somewhere in the remote mountains in the Himalayas, and then why don't you find them? Why are you flocking to these spiritual frauds? fake gurus. So that was another intention, that I should showcase that and discover those. That was one of my main curiosity when I started my spiritual seeking, that to unravel and find these yogis who actually go and live in the remote mountains. And I wanted to share with the world. So I uploaded some videos on the YouTube, and I had no plan to make a channel. Those videos went viral, 2, 3 videos went viral, and then suddenly it became a channel. And I realized I have to monetize it. Then I went to monetize it. And then I realized that I can also make some videos on my own teachings. And then I started making those. And in between, it stopped because of some personal problems. For a year, I did not make videos. And so this is, and coming to the book. So part of this sharing of knowledge, I realized through teaching is erratic. I came back to India in 21 and discontinued teaching, and still now I've not been teaching. I was teaching only in Europe because I felt they were more serious seekers, and they were quietly listening, unlike India. So my teaching has stopped, and YouTube also goes ups and down, up and down, up and down. Presently, my channel is not doing very well, and then I also thought that all this information is very unstructured, scattered. So if I can write a book, so certainly there's a need arose that I should write a book. Also, because if I'm doing, I should finish it to the end. I should not leave it half-hearted. My effort should not be half-hearted. This is a social responsibility, and coming to writing the book in a short span of time, in 4 months, I wrote the book, also edited myself, formatted myself, designed the covers myself. I did everything, self-published myself, tried to approach traditional publishers also. And so in those 4 months, effectively, I wrote one book in 7 days, another one in 10 days. I had no idea what is book writing and how much time it takes. Somebody says you take 6 months, 1 year. But there was no compilation. It was all what I was teaching. It was all my own knowledge, all my explorations, basically, my own experiences, my own understanding. So it was not that I have to pick up some data from somewhere. It was just like I can rattle out the whole book in one go. It was all about how much I can type in a day, like my endurance to type for 6 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours. So it was, somebody said you wrote 20 pages. I think that person told me I cannot write more than 3, 4 pages. I said, why? It's all about my endurance, how much time I can type. So, because it was all inside. Now somebody said you got a download from, you were channelized. Somebody says, people can talk anything, but the thing is, it doesn't matter. Somebody's channelizing or downloading. It's something you have got inside you now, and you are sharing it. So that was the whole idea about writing books. And I feel my responsibility was not only just meditation, but social thing is very, very important, because the core value is human values. The core of all the problems in today's life is human values and human qualities, the mistuning of the human qualities. And that is impacting the mind. And also, because if the mind is impacted, society is impacted. Because if my thinking is weird, my thinking is distorted, my perceptions, processing, everything is distorted, misguided, impure, then obviously I am a burden on the society. And if everybody is like that, we are all a burden on the society, and we are collectively creating a chaos in the society. Now, what is the reason? For that, I've written a book which starts from industrialization, capitalism, consumerism, the war machines, all that stuff which is happening in the world. It's all collated into this book, like feminism, digitalization, digital poison, technological misuse, how technology has been misused, and how it's being used by the capitalists. So capitalists are devils, who are greedy, and the most elites, like you have deep state and cabal and whatnot, all nonsense, how they are creating wars, how they create narratives and then create a war. Like what have they done in Middle East? That's my political, I generally don't give political views on my channel because it's spiritual. But frankly, if you go to the social problems, there are immense social problems. So I wrote this book, and I'm thinking of making some videos on social issues. Then it get into some kind of political views, which I try to avoid, because political views are very, very individual. And I don't want to get into the political aspect of this particular channel. Just restrict myself to the feminism.
Mhm. Mhm. So, thank you so much, Shiv, for answering a lot of questions today. Can you please tell us how people can find you and how to access your work?
Yeah, see, I have a website which I made last year. I made the website myself. That was also like a surprise to me because it's been long. I was wanting to make a website, and it just didn't happen. And as they say, and I believe in that, that when the time comes for something to happen, it happens. If something has to happen, it will happen when the time comes. And if it doesn't have to happen, it will not happen. So finally, website got made, and it got made by my own self, which I was not confident of making. Still being an engineer, I was not. So website is one place they can find me, shivmathur.com. And my idea of making the website was to basically popularize the books and probably also make it a point of sale also, and place to sell it also directly, because I saw this whole publishing industry, which I feel is kind of a scam, because the author gets nothing out of the whole book. The publisher, the distributor, the bookshop owners, they take away almost 80 to 90% of your price of the book. As an author, you get nothing out of it unless you become a big a very popular author. Then probably you get when you sell about 10,000, 100,000 copies, probably then you get something out of it worthwhile. Otherwise, most of the authors, they really don't make any money out of it. So I feel the authors are really cheated, and the system is like that. The system has been created like that. What can you do it? So that's what and YouTube is another source. I feel YouTube is going to be more relevant to me because my website might close down next month if I don't renew it. I'm going through some personal problems also, so there are some challenges. And if they search for me on Google, Shiv Mathur, they will see different aspects of mine with the books, with the YouTube. And I don't see any third way of reaching out to the audience. They can connect with me on my email, on my WhatsApp number is also there on my website and my YouTube channel. So if somebody wants to reach out to me, but I'm not there to chat with people. A lot of people try to chat with me, but not spend time on the content actually. So there are a lot of people approach me for chatting, and I tell them, you have my content, you want some specific answers I can give, but don't try to get friendly. I'm not here to make new friends, It's not possible to make so many friends.
Thank you so much for joining us today on GNR podcast. It was really illuminating to have Shiv share their expertise and insight with us. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments below. Stay tuned for more engaging conversation. Until next time, take care.